The next thing is subject-verb agreement I mentioned just now. The verb also tells us, apart from when something happened, it also tells us how many people were involved or how many items were involved, right? And because of that, we have to match the number in the subject with the verb. So if it's a single subject, then we use a singular verb, plural subject, plural verb, and so on, right? So we are familiar with the parts of speech, what's a noun, what's a verb, what's subject and object. So the pupils do their homework every day. So it's present tense, and then do is a plural verb because the subject, right, is plural, the pupils, right? So this is fairly straightforward. And if your child may still be confused with this, then get them to do some MCQ grammar questions, right? Explain the rule to them, get them to explain it back to you. It will help, right? Now, occasionally, one type of S&T question is the use of either or neither nor, right? Now, when we encounter this question, let me maybe go back to this. We know that there are two nouns, right? Paul and this time Paul and this group of boys, right? The boys. Either Paul or the boys are able to help. Now, why are? Because if you look at Paul, Paul is singular, right? Can we ignore Paul and just look at the boys? And why is that so? So there is a rule called the proximity rule. Rule of proximity simply means, because proximity means distance, so rule of proximity simply means that we look at the subject that is nearer to the verb. Since the boys is right beside the verb, we take the boys as the reference subject, right, as the reference point. So plural boys, therefore are. If we switch Paul and the boys around, either the boys or Paul, this time around we have to use is because the reference point now has become Paul, right? So the rule of proximity says that we need to look at the subject nearest to the verb. All right. Now, if this is difficult to remember, I always tell students, just remember it's the second noun. Ignore the first, look for the second noun, because the second noun is always the one beside the verb, right? So this is another one to take note of. Next, we have as well as. So when we talk about quantity, as well as, together with, along with, will all follow the same rule, right? Which is that whatever that is in this clause, right, in this, between these two commas, are not an important subject, right? They are additional information that gives us more details, but they don't change the subject. So we call them embedded clauses. So they're embedded because they are sticking into the middle of a sentence. So you could have a sentence as simple as Peter is celebrating. So Peter is celebrating is a complete sentence, but we want to tell readers a little bit more about the situation. So Peter, as well as his teammates, is celebrating because we take reference from the subject that is outside the commas, right? So additional information given in an embedded clause does not influence the agreement with the subject. And I say again, this rule applies to together with and along with as well. So if this is Peter together with his teammates, still is, because we only look at Peter, right? Hi, this is Dr. Daniel Chua. I hope the video that you have just watched will be helpful to your child in preparation for PSLE English. So if you are interested to sign up for any of our programs, please feel free to check out this QR code, and then you can then find out more about what we do to help our students at Cognitus Academy. All right, thank you.